Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Starting Million. I am your host, Asher Al. Thank you for joining. And we are about to get started. And as usual, I'm very excited because my next guest is he's very buff, okay? And he's one of the guys when I didn't get to chat with him much actually before because I was probably intimidated by his muscles, but you'll see it later anyway. So I'm very excited to have a chat with him because I think a lot of people these days, especially here we're living in Singapore, we're in a place where there's a lot of food here. And for someone like him, he's able to kind of balance both. And I think for someone like me, it's sometimes very, very hard to deal with that. But I'm going to ask him a few questions with regards to that. And also, if you happen to be watching together with me live right now, please leave a comment right now. Type in hashtag live and just let me know that you're watching together with me. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them because what will happen is that as we're talking, anytime a comment comes up, I'll flash up a question. Afterwards, we can ask and interact together with our next guest. All right. So without further, I just want to let you know that is exactly what is going to happen. So without further ado, I just want to welcome and let's get the show rolling.
You cut me loose and set me free. You cut me loose. You make me win in every way. Win in every way. You show me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way.
So, my next guest, his name is Daryl Ng. He is a fitness enthusiast who helps busy dream fighters crush their fitness goals without giving up their favorite food. He strongly advocates sustainability in terms of achieving anything huge. So, if there's one thing he wants you to know, it's not fast, it's not how far you can run in a single day, is that after 6 months or 8 months, you are still running. So, without further ado, let me to bring on Daryl. Yo!
Hi, Asher. Thanks for having me into your show.
Awesome.
Hi.
Thanks for coming on. Hey, hi guys. So this is Daryl. Okay, this guy is Daryl. I mean, we had a bit of a discussion. We had some discussions just before this as well. And I'm really excited to hear from him and learn from him. So, okay. So Daryl, maybe we just get really quick, because I think there's a lot of things we can cover, and I know you're pretty excited, right? So
Yes.
maybe you can share with everyone a little bit over here, right? How you really get started. So this is the first question I really want to ask, and I kind of ask this to everybody. So when you were growing up, right, what kind of person were you like when you were growing up?
So when I was growing up, I feel that I was a very inferior kid that has very low self-esteem. Like I have no confidence in myself, and then when I do things, I give up very easily. Sometimes I have a lot of ideas, and then a lot of ideas and a lot of dreams that I want to achieve, but end up I spread myself too thin, and then the things that I do are all half-assed, so I don't achieve anything. And a little
Mm,
backstory about myself is how inferior I was back then is when ANF, it is closing on the 5th of May, 2nd of May, which is very unfortunate. I was very inferior. So when back then when they first started the ANF shop, they have like topless guys standing in front of the store, and then I
ANF,
was
wait,
so
what's ANF?
ANF is Abercrombie and Fitch, the one at Orchard
Oh,
Road. Yeah. So they have
okay,
like
okay.
a line of topless guys, and then back then I was, I wasn't really into working out. Although I was working out, but I didn't really have muscles, or I don't really, as compared to them, I don't see myself like the same level. So I felt very inferior, and then to the point where I don't really want to walk close to that store because I feel that their energy level and their they are very outspoken, and they are high energy, that is something that I cannot keep up with. So I try not to get close to the shop. So but sometimes my friend wants to shop there, so I have no choice but to accompany them and go there. So when I'm in the shop, everyone was like, they are very welcoming. So like, they are, hey, how are you doing and stuff like that. So I don't want to lift up my head. I don't want to look at them because I feel that
Mm,
I am very inferior. As compared to them, I feel I don't have any self confidence as compared to them. So
oh, oh, okay.
I don't even look. So that is why maybe this is probably why one of the reasons why I work out.
Okay, okay. So going to
Yeah.
ANF is they inspired you to become stronger. That's a very interesting thing, man. You should let ANF know. Who knows? They might just ask you to become like the spokesperson or something. Did they, by the way?
I hope no. Back then I was I didn't have the body that they wanted. So if I were to go there, I think I will be like the odd one out. That is out of shape and then doesn't fit into their brand. I see.
Okay, okay. So ANF, if you're watching, if anybody knows someone from ANF, hey, hit Daryl up. I think he's
Yes,
should
please.
be
Yes, please.
pretty
Yes, please.
over almost there, already, almost there. Already. This
Yeah,
one
I
over
hope.
here, not yet. Okay. Okay, very interesting. So you mentioned about being in body shape itself, right? Can you just, describe a little bit about your body type? Because I think when it comes to getting to fitness, getting strong, body type is something that a lot of people don't understand, right? So maybe you can just share a little bit about, what's your body type, and then briefly about your journey to get to where you are currently.
My body type, I would say my body type is somewhere, in the middle. I get fat very easily. So because of my eating habits, I like to enjoy food. And back then, when I was younger, I usually eat a lot of food. So because my family, my dad especially, he will order a table full of food. So
Mm,
sometimes when we cannot finish the food, he will be like, hey, Daryl finish the food. So that is why I think the eating habits come from there. So if you were to ask me what is my body type, I feel that if I eat a little bit more, I will get fat very easily. So, but if I want to lose weight, I have to work doubly hard to burn it off. So that is what my I was I kept on thinking of the mentality that I have to either give up on eating, or I have to give up the mentality of eating to achieve the physique that I want. But that is not the case. The case, if you want to achieve the physique that you want, it's more about going into a sustainable approach instead of going all out. But I think that will be explained a bit later throughout the interview. Yeah, so the
mm,
journey towards my current state is more about the sustainable approach, because I feel that last time when I want to work out, I always go all out, and then after all out I get myself burnt out, and then I give up after 2 to 3 weeks. And then
mm.
for now, the current state that I have, actually, I am going on a 90 days beer challenge, which is drinking beer every single day for 90 days, in
Hmm.
attempt to lose weight at the same time.
That's an interesting challenge. Could you share a little bit more about that challenge? Because have never heard before of taking drinking beer for 90 days and then losing weight at the same time. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, because a lot of people are thinking like, you cannot drink beer. If you drink beer, you will get beer belly, or if you drink beer, you will get fat. So I want to clear away the thoughts, that I want to help, like help people to understand that the beer is not the reason why that you gain fat. It is the overall calories intake that you consume throughout the day that makes you gain fat. So for example, if you were to drink moderately, maybe 1 to 2 cans, but it is fit into your total calories intake for that day, you will lose weight. I mean, you will lose
Mm.
weight. So if you were to consume a lot of calories, and then you drink beer, and then the total amount of calories is more than what you should be eating, then you will gain weight. So it's more like a budgeting thing, I would say.
Wow. Okay. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from Daryl. There is a way to keep drinking beer and not get fat, right? So that is new to me. That's new to me, and that's amazing. I mean, I'm not a beer drinker a lot, but it's quite amazing to know that you can actually. I think it's the key thing you mentioned earlier is about understanding the number of calories you have and getting into deficit and stuff like that. And before we may go a bit deeper, maybe I can just ask you a little bit off the cuff question: is how do you know how much calories you actually need though?
So because for individual is different. So for example,
Mm,
if you were to consume consistently what you are eating for a week, then if you don't gain weight, if for example if you gain weight, that means the calories that you're consuming is more than what you should be eating. So that means we have to play around with the amount of calories that you're eating. So I cannot give you a blueprint that say, okay, 2,000 calories is what you should be eating, because everybody is different, and
mm,
everybody's lifestyle is different as well. So for example, for Usher, maybe your work is slightly more active, so that means you can consume more calories. But for someone that is working in the office, they might be consuming lesser calories because they are not moving around very often. So it's not more of giving you the exact amount of numbers of calories, but more of a trial and error. Like for example, you try 2,000 calories. If you are gaining weight with 2,000 calories, then you drop it to 1.9k. 1.8K. Yeah. So if you want to track your calories, you can go and download the free app, which is called MyFitnessPal. You can go and download it for free, and you can track your calories. Actually, you can input the hawker food that you have in Singapore, that we have in Singapore, like chicken rice, char kway teow, roti prata. The calories intake, the nutrition facts are all inside the app as well.
Okay, okay, no problem. Okay, so I noticed someone's behind you. That's okay. We can
Yeah.
carry on. Uh, but there's one thing you mentioned a bit earlier, right? With when you want to keep fit, right? There's something very, very important is why have you remained consistent in keeping fit? Because I think for my personal take is there's a lot of people they need a certain why, they need a reason, and I think it is not just like getting. I mean, it's some people say it's easy to get fit. I don't think so. I think you need a reason why, and it's actually quite hard. Like like this people say, which you will get into like they don't have time or whatsoever. But sometimes I feel it's you make time. But I think we'll get into that later. But before we go to that, can you just share a little bit about why have you remained consistent in keeping fit all throughout the years?
Maybe I can share with you the reason why I go into this sustainable approach. Because back when I was younger, I go for like all out. I went for a few competitions that I was very fat, and then I go for the competition. I really being very strict with my diet, and then I work out. Everything is very strict. I get my results fast, and I get in shape fast as well for the competition. But I realized that after the competition, I gain my weight back again. I become fat
Mm,
again. I rebound my weight about almost 10 to 20 kg back, like I gain back very quickly. So I realized that that is not what I want. I want to look good throughout my life. I don't want to look good just for a short period of time. So people are always saying like the before and after. So for example, like I want to go on a 30 days challenge, before and after. But what is more important is the after. Okay, what is more important is the after, because you can get the results very fast, but what's the point of going on a 30 days challenge and then you give it up after 30 days? It defeats the point of getting into shape, because you will
mm,
end up getting back to your original weight or even higher. So that is what I don't want to advocate. I rather you go on a sustainable diet that you can carry out through the rest of your life.
mm. Okay, I think that's a very good point that you brought up because it's easy to I would say sprint in a sense, right? You just on the moment,
Correct.
you just because of that suddenly it's like the new year. I want to have a resolution. I'm going to get fit, and then you go to the gym for the first 3 months. After that, it's nah. Then
Yes, correct,
功
correct.
亏一篑.
Correct, correct. And the reason why I stay consistent is because I feel that a lot of people are going, like what you say, going all out, like sprinting. So for example, if you have the motivation to work out, I rather you have create use the momentum, use the motivation to create the momentum that that can carry you forward for a long time consistency, rather than a short sprint that you will burn out after 1 to 2 months.
Mm, yep.
So
Okay. Thank you.
the things that I always advocate on my social media is going for 5 minutes run. Okay, 5 minutes run may be very, it seems redundant. Like, I prepare my things. It takes more than 5 minutes. Then I go for a 5 minutes run. It don't make sense. But to me, it makes sense because it's not about burning calories for that 5 minutes, but it's more of creating the habit of going for the run. Because sometimes the 5 minutes will become 7 minutes, the 7 minutes will
Mm,
become 9 minutes, and then so on and so forth until 20 minutes. Okay, because for example, if someone like me that doesn't like to run, and then I tell you that, okay, Daryl, I give you a plan. From tomorrow onwards, I want you to run 10 km per day. Okay, so okay, for example, if someone like me don't
10,
like to run.
10 km.
Yes. So for example, like someone like me that doesn't like to run 10 km, I can maybe I can stretch a little bit forward. I try to hit 10 km, but that is the first day. The second day, we try our best, to run 10 km. But after a week, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, if you want me to run 10 km, I get sick of it. I will tell myself that,
Mm.
fitness maybe is not for me, lah. Fitness is not for me because 10 km, to achieve a fitness level, maybe 10 km is not for me. Maybe I am not suitable to become fit. So then I give up the intentions of getting fit totally.
Okay, that's a very good point. I think you brought up a very good point over here. Just like that's a very good point because I think starting small and making it maintaining afterwards. I mean, 5 minutes is a it's kind of like a mind trick. I like that. So it's kind of like mind trick. You kind of trick yourself into doing it afterwards. And since there's the momentum of already on that run, right? You'll be like, maybe I can just push myself just a little bit more instead of setting yourself a goal that's like, gonna do 10 km, 10 km, and then afterwards you give up too early without even achieving it. Plus, the running 10 km every single time, it's gonna be tiring. It's kind of like the One Punch Man thing. Afterwards, it's gonna go bald, right?
Yes,
I don't
correct,
know.
correct.
That's a reference. Yeah.
Yes, because I have received because this 10 km thing is true. I have received message like because they want to lose weight. Then I ask them, what is your next call of action? What do you want to do? Because I don't want to give them a straight answer. What should you do? Because in terms of your lifestyle, in terms of your lifestyle, like I cannot give you a proper blueprint for you to follow. So I ask them, what is your next call of action? So what I received, the message that I received is, for the I will run, during the weekdays, I will run 10 km. So this is true. By the way, this is true. I will run 10 km every day during the weekdays, and then I will only have salad for my meals. So I realized that I tell him that this is not sustainable. Although maybe you will get your result fast, but this is not sustainable. Maybe you can sustain for 2 3 weeks, but after a month you will be burnt out because sometimes we are as humans we have a lot of cravings, and then if you restrict yourself too much from the craving, and then when you have chance to eat it you will overeat, and then from there the rebound start to happen, and then you gain your weight back, and then you go back to ground zero, you go back to zero, and then you realize that okay, maybe because of the carbs that I'm eating is causing me to gain fat, which actually it is not. It is the total amount of calories that you have eaten that is contributing to your fat gain.
Okay, that's thanks for sharing that. So with that said, I think we are getting very deep into it, and that's why I like really love that you can get specific about it. So maybe you can ask a little bit about what's going on about the things you have, and maybe we touched a little bit earlier about it already, right? But can you just share a little bit more about your own personal philosophy regarding training, food, and lifestyle? I know you touched on it already, but perhaps you can maybe just expand a bit over here.
Okay, so for example, my philosophy towards training, lifestyle, and food, it is more about the sustainable approach. Although sustainable approach, I feel that people that is viewing, maybe they think that is quite general, but it is true because what I want is making small tweaks in your lifestyle rather than making a huge turn. Because for example, like a lot of my clients are entrepreneurs. They have other things they have to focus on. I don't want them to take a huge part of the concentration, a lot of the focus into fitness, and then they leave, they do not focus more on their business. So making small tweaks is the way to go, because small tweaks, sometimes it is negligible. So for example, like cutting a bit of rice from your normal food, it is negligible because a few rice is okay. Like for example, going for 5 minutes run, it's negligible because 5 minutes, you run for just a song length of music, and then the run is over. So something like that. So it's more of making small tweaks, and then creating the consistency. Then after that, you will increase more on the momentum, and then you will do bigger stuff.
Okay, okay. So, okay, small little things that increasing so that it's sustainable. Very good philosophy that you have. So, but then also because you mentioned about like entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs, people who are busy, those are your clients. And I think a very common, very, very common, perhaps it's just me, okay? A very common question, the statement is, I have no time to exercise. I'm too busy. I have family. I'm working. I got too much work. I got no time to work out. What's your response to that?
Yeah, I feel that everyone has no time, because if you don't prioritize, because okay, the reason why people have no time for workout is because fitness is not their priority. If it is their priority, they will find time to go and work out. Although you don't have to do a lot, you just have to do something. Maybe back again, 5 minutes run. 5 minutes run, I don't think is a very long time. I feel that you're scrolling through Facebook, you're scrolling through Instagram, TikTok. It takes more time. 5 minutes is nothing. So, but people say that they have no time, but usually it is fitness is not their priority. If it is the priority, they will find some time to go and do it. But sometimes if you really really have no time, doing something is better than doing nothing. But doing something will create the momentum to help you consistently, because back, okay, just a little bit story. I actually I went to Iceland. So Iceland, it is the weather is very cold. I still managed to go there and run, not because I want to go there and start run, but it's more of like creating I've created this momentum for almost like 2 years. So the momentum, I don't want to go to Iceland and then break it, because for example, if you don't work out for 1 week, the 1 week, then the following week when you want to go and run, you want to go and work out, it's more like you start to feel a little bit cranky, you start to feel a little bit rusty. So for me, my thinking is I go to Iceland, although the weather is cold, I just try to squeeze in a little bit of workout, like going for a short run. Okay, not really intense, but more of keeping the momentum there. So the run is not too far, maybe 2 km. 2 km, I mean, to normal people may seem a lot, but to really people that have been working out for some time, 2 km is like a child's play. But I feel that keeping the momentum there is more important. So for example, if you think that you have no time to work out, just doing a little bit of something keeps the momentum there, and then once your time is more free, you have more time, and then you can do slightly more. Yeah, so this is what I have to say to those people that have less time to work out.
Okay, so because there's already had the momentum, you want to make and interesting. You were in Iceland, you don't want to break that momentum so that you don't break the ice.
Correct, man, correct.
It's a very stupid, very cold joke. Get it? Anyway, I just want to put it in. Anyway, so okay, so I think okay, hey, there's the momentum that's going on, and I think it's kind of like okay, I think there's a lot of folks right who have okay in that case, perhaps there are people who have never got into this habit of exercising. Okay, have not get into the habit of exercising, and perhaps the idea of running, just the idea of running scares them already. How would you help someone like that? Just the idea of it. How would you help someone like that?
Because for me, I don't like to run. I don't like to run at all, because
Mm,
back then when I was in Dragon Boat, I just a little bit story of to back up why I don't like running. So Dragon Boat, I can row, I can row very fast. I'm strong to row, but when it comes to land training, running, I am one of the slowest, to the point where my coach tells me that I'm like an old man in the pub, trying to keep fit. So it's not because of what, but I realized that it's because I really don't like the feeling of running out of breath. So like running for 100 meters, and then running out of breath, and then I give up. So if people that are like me, so what I start off with is, like, for example, 5 minutes run. Okay, 5 minutes run. I don't want you to run like as fast as possible for the 5 minutes. I just want you to clock 5 minutes of run. It could be jogging, it could be very, very slow jog, or it could be like jogging on the spot. Just don't stop for that 5 minutes. 5 minutes will
mm,
pass very quickly, and then regardless of how tired you are, you just slow down but never stop. Yeah. So from there,
mm,
that 5 minute will eventually become 7 minutes, and then that 7 minutes will become 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes. Sometimes the 10 minutes, if you manage to run 1.5 km. Okay. So next time you try to run like maybe 1.7 km, and then slowly increase to 2 km. Okay. So for example, if you were to be running every single day, I will consider you as a runner already.
okay, wow. So I didn't know that you hated running. That's interesting to know because someone who is as fit as you are, right, who actually not enjoy running. That's interesting. So okay, but when it comes to running, okay, when it comes to running itself, right, one of the things is like for example, some people they like to exercise, they go to weight training, and I think there's this thing about if you are running, then you lose muscle. Then there's that stuff like that. So when it comes to losing weight and getting muscle, what's the in your opinion, what's the best way to gain muscle and lose fat at the possibly at the same time?
Because for example, if someone that is new to training, it is possible for you to gain muscle and gain lose fat at the same time. But if you were to be training for quite some time, you have to choose either to lose body fat or gain muscle. So that is for a long term approach. But if you are just starting out, you can just do both. So for example, if your calories is on point, and then if you are doing a strength training, and then doing a sufficient amount of cardio, you will be able to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. That is true, because I feel that a lot of people are focusing more of I want to gain muscle, and then they eat tons of calories, and then instead of getting buff, or instead of gaining muscle, they end up gaining a lot of fat instead. And then for people that are skinny, for people that are fat, then they want to lose body fat, and then they don't want to do a lot of training because they feel that, training, maybe they are keeping a lot of weight, so they do a lot of cardio. So actually I feel that in terms of fitness, you really have to incorporate lifting weights and then doing cardio as well, and at the same time keeping your nutrition on point.
Mm. Okay. So okay, keeping your nutrition on point, losing so the so okay, so that means for someone who is starting out, it's easy to do both. It's easy to kind of lose weight and gain muscle. But for someone who has been in it for a while already, how long would that be actually? Who has been doing it for a while, how long would that be?
Maybe I would say maybe about one year or 1.5 years. I feel that that is almost like, you have certain amount of muscle mass ready, and then from there it's either you want to gain more muscles or you want to lose that body fat. So it's like it's either you bulk or it's either you cut. So there's two ways.
Mm. Okay, okay, interesting. So, okay, guys, by the way, for those of you who are watching right now, okay, please do me a favor, right? Leave us a comment. Right now, I have on my guest together with me, Mr. Daryl Ng, and he's actually sharing with us some tips. And then here's the thing is, he's here. He's a fitness enthusiast. He's also a personal trainer. And if you have any questions, okay, please feel free to leave a question. Feel free to leave your comments. And what I'll do is I'll just flash it on the screen. Otherwise, I'm just gonna take this whole time for myself and ask all my questions that I want to know. Okay. So if you have any questions, feel free to join us in this conversation right now. Okay. With that being said, all right. So when it comes to this training, okay, I think we're going through the questions pretty quickly, and I think that's great. So losing weight, gaining muscle. Now, when it comes to gaining muscle, when it comes to that, okay, there's this two things that I think when I did a little bit of research, right? Because I myself, I'm starting to head to the gym. I've been heading, I think, since February or around there, January and February. That's when I started. I haven't missed a day. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I haven't missed a day. So I've been doing that. So training for size versus training for strength, right? So this is for you. I want to ask you on that, right? What have you learned from your own training? What does has your body reacted to training versus for size and versus for strength? There's a difference there, and maybe you can just share the audience on what is this difference? What do you mean by size and strength?
Okay, so for example, if you want to gain strength, so that means your reps have to be like maybe from one rep to between 1 to 5 reps. So that I would say is carrying 1 to 5 reps. That means that is gaining your strength training. So for example, you need a lot of strength. You need more strength in order to gain more muscle. So it's like more like a proportion thing. So if in order to grow bigger muscles, you need to be stronger. So for example, if your strength is not there, you have to go for strength training first and then slowly increase on your muscle building reps. So for example, what I would say muscle building reps is maybe from 8 to 12 reps, and then from for strength training, it is from 1 to 5 reps. So you need to incorporate both in order to gain that size.
Okay, so 1 to 5 for those who wants to go for strength, and
Strength
then
training,
eight
correct.
to
8 to
strength
12 is
training.
more of a hypertrophy range for gaining size. It is 8 to 12. But for example, if you were to always be focusing on 8 to 12 reps, you wouldn't gain much muscle because you do not have the strength enough to push to the limit. So you need to have more strength in order to carry more load. So it's more like a progressive overload for you to gain more muscles. So you need to do that by doing strength training as well. So 1 to 5 reps, increase on your strength, and then use that strength that you have gained to increase the amount of weight that you can carry for 8 to 12 reps. And then that is when you grow on size.
Okay, so maybe you can just go back a little bit fundamentally, right? What does it mean to get into hypertrophy? What does it mean?
So hypertrophy, what I will be saying is more of like a mind and muscle connection. Instead of going through the reps and then pumping up and down, it's more of feeling the muscles. So when you go up, you squeeze the muscles, and when you come down, you feel the stretch, and then you squeeze again for 8 to 12 reps. Because a lot of times when people go for gym training, they usually go for the heaviest weight. But I wouldn't do that because I feel that that is counterproductive, because you end up getting injured. If you get injured, then you will get off the gym for a few months, and then you get back to the gym, it's like we're starting back to zero. So what I would say is, going 8 to 12 reps, going on a mind and muscle connection, slowly contract, squeeze your muscle, slowly come down and stretch the muscle. But it's more of making sure that your form is correct, rather than going for heavy weights.
So, okay, going to training itself, going to the gym, right? I mean, we're just making the assumption that everybody kind of goes to the gym. They can work out from home, but let's say going to the gym. How hard is it to get to that point? Because sometimes when, let's say for example myself, when I'm trying to do any of some of these exercises, right, it's very tough for me to get to this. Like my muscles are screaming already, and I still need to do some of these weights to get into, in a sense, hypertrophy. Trying to, but how do I know I'm getting the hypertrophy? Is it to the point where I just like 2 kilo I also cannot raise really? Is that what it means to be getting into hypertrophy?
No, it is not, because what I would say, like the 2 kg that is very heavy, is more of like a training to failure. But I would say training to failure is not very productive as well. More, you need to carry volume, but not to the point where 2 kg you cannot lift. Sometimes when people go to the gym, they feel that they have to lift everything in the gym. If not, the gym training is wasted. It's either you go beast mode or you go home. But I feel that that is not the point. The point is being consistent with your workout, and then for example, tomorrow you're going workout as well, so you don't have to necessarily kill yourself for that workout, and then tomorrow you get burnt out, and then you don't want to go to the gym. So 8 to 12 reps is more of slow control, and then from there you will have to focus more on your proper form, and then you can carry on forward for the next day.
Okay, so if let's say we're training for strength, I know I didn't prep you with this beforehand, but if let's say someone is training for strength, someone who is new, okay, what would you recommend what kind of exercises would you recommend for someone to do?
So, for example, the 5 exercise is bench press, and then deadlift, squat, and then the legs pull down, and then the last one is shoulder press. So these are the 5 exercises that is the basic exercise to help you gain strength. So, for example, if you want to gain strength on your bench press, you can do the bench press 5 times 5. So that means 5 reps of 5 sets. And then from there, 5 reps of 5 sets is not to the point where 5 reps is easy reps. It's more of like the 5 reps, the 4. When you do up to 4 reps, it is almost up to failure, and then you clear the 5th rep. So that is to the point where it is productive, rather than you rush through the 5 reps easily.
Okay, so how about the other 4 exercises you're talking about? You
Yeah,
only mentioned about the bench press, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same concept, just that the exercises are different. So for example, 5 times 5 you can do for deadlift, you can do for squats, you can do for shoulder press, and then the last one is legs pull down. It's either legs pull down, or you can do pull ups. So
Okay,
these are
so
the 5.
these
Yep,
okay,
yep.
so these will be the 5 exercises, okay, that anyone can do. Okay, so because let's say we're going to the gym itself, right? It's Should one get a personal trainer, or should one just go and try themselves? Okay, because when it comes to a personal trainers, of course, being Singaporeans, okay, a lot of us are very pragmatic. A lot of us are like, yeah, I can get my own, I can do it myself. I don't need a personal trainer. This question I'm putting on the screen here. There's a lot of things we can ask. There's a few layered questions, right? So like, what are the costs? But after the cost itself, we got to ask, how do you choose a personal trainer, and what questions should one always ask? Okay, so perhaps you can just expand on this, because this one is quite a very pragmatic question, I say, a practical question. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say that personal trainers is it depends on the individual. You can learn from YouTube. The knowledge that you can find is all over the internet. But if you want to be safe, and then to reach your goal even faster, you should get a fitness trainer, because the fitness trainer will help you align with your goals. And then if they see that anything is not right, they can rectify your form, your diet, anything that is they see that is not aligned to your goals immediately. So for example, if you were not to engage a trainer, you would have to trial and error for a few times, which is what I've done. So when I first started training, it was about 12 years old, not really sure of what I'm doing. So I'm going to the gym, although that at that point of time YouTube has just started. So the videos that I've learned is more of those motivational.
12 years old? Are you sure?
Yeah,
12 years old, you start working
12 years
out?
old, 12 years, I'm sure it's 12 years old because I remember vividly that my neighbor, when we were playing basketball, and then my neighbor, which is a female, she brought us to the gym at Jurong East Swimming Complex. So I remember standing outside the gym, and then I'm looking inside. It's like the feeling of seeing people gymming inside is like an adult playground that I want to someday I want to go inside and have a try. So when I go inside and try, I don't know what to work out. So, for example, I do not have a trainer. So I go there, I see the machine. The machine. Beside the machine, they have like the muscle groups that they are working on during. When you're using this machine, you're working on this muscle. So, for example, I went to the abs machine. I told myself that, hey, I want abs. So I do this. I do like I do 30 reps of
Mm,
the crunches, and then I move on
yeah.
to doing the bench press, the machine chest press, and I say, hey, yeah, I would want to have some chest as well. So I go for the chest press. So you see, all this time that is in the gym, it is, I wouldn't say it's wasted, but more of trial and error. But if you were to go to the gym with a trainer, they can fast track your results much faster than doing it alone, and then it is safer as well.
Okay, so definitely having someone beside you, okay, that can help you to check out your form. Not just the style of. I think some people think of having a trainer as someone who just beside you and say, "Come on, one more," kind of thing, and
Yeah.
then just like psycho you. Does that actually happen a lot?
I would say that personal trainers, they get to count the reps, but I think it is more than that because in terms of teaching how to work out, how to do the technical stuff, it is easy because you can find it on you can find it on YouTube. But it is more of the mindset, the personal development that is going behind the scene, because I feel that the most important thing is to develop oneself, the mindset that always push beyond the limits, because sometimes when we get too busy, working out is not what we want to do. So as personal trainers, people have to the trainers have to keep things interesting for the clients so they can come back. Yeah, but it is more of more than just working out by itself.
Okay, that's interesting. So as a personal trainer, you also have to really consider how you can make it interesting for the client. That's intriguing. So how have you any interesting stories about that? How you made it interesting for any of your clients?
So, for example, my clients sometimes when they are, they get too tired of doing these exercises, I will swap it out with other exercises which target the same muscle group. So, for example, like chest press, we can change it up to incline press, something different from what they are currently doing. Okay, so for example, if they feel that they don't want to work on chest, we can go out and do some HIIT workout, like do those battle ropes. Like what I say,
Mm-hmm.
doing something is better than doing nothing. So we go out and burn some calories, and but at the same time we can do some push-ups as well. So that is also moving forward. It is not about always constantly doing the same thing over and over again. That is best, but sometimes clients don't want to do that because it is very boring. Sometimes doing the same thing again and again, very boring. But it is the basic things that works.
Okay, so I mean sometimes okay, like one of the things I find it quite interesting for me, right, is that when I hit to the gym, right, when I first started out, it was very tough for me to do deadlifts and squats. So then what happened is to make it a bit more like I don't want to get myself depressed. So I'm like, yeah, I cannot. Then I don't want to call something called ego lift, right? Can you share a little bit about what is this thing called ego lift and why people should just avoid doing ego lifts?
Yeah, so ego lift is more like, sometimes when you are in the gym, people are around, and then they are looking at you, and then, you tend to have, you want to lift more weight to impress people, but your form is not correct. So sometimes, like when I first started as well, when I want to train legs, but at the same time, I see ladies that are walking in. So, instead of doing my weak muscle, I went to train my chest instead, because, chest is my strong point. I want to bench press, I want to impress the ladies, and then I go very heavy on my chest. So that is called ego lifting. But rather than, going on the form, so which what I'm focusing now, I don't focus about my surrounding. I focus more about my goals. So ego lifting is carrying the weight that you cannot lift, but try your best, those kind of things. Yeah, but you will end up getting injured. So there's a saying, leave your ego at the door. So that is why always focus on, proper form, and safety always comes first in the gym.
Yeah, lift. Let's say it again. Leave your ego at the door, right? So
Yes,
don't
yes,
lift your
yes.
ego. Yeah, good point over there. So, yeah, I think also when it comes to ego lifting, okay, is there a difference though when it comes to ego lifting versus challenging yourself? At what point do you think that difference comes in?
The difference comes in when your form start to go off. So, for example, let me give an illustration through
Mm,
this camp if I can. So, for example, you're doing bench press like this. So, ego lifting is, you're trying to lift the heavy weight, then your head start to tilt one side, and then your elbows start to go up, and then you try to push it up. This kind of form usually comes when the last few reps. I wouldn't say that is productive, because it always have some room of ways for you to get injured. So always focus on perfect form to the end. So for example, your first rep push down until your last rep should be around the same one. So for example, if you were to see your or if you were to find yourself getting struggling to bring the weight up, I think that the weight is too heavy for you. Drop the weight a little bit, and then carry on with that weight for the next set.
okay, okay. So go to not push yourself just a little bit, but not to the point where it's not trying to show off to other people.
Yes,
Okay,
correct,
okay.
correct.
Noted, noted. Okay. So I think that's I mean, I'm learning a lot. I'm also just like for myself. I'm learning from someone like you who has been in it for such a long time. Since 12, I only started
It's
since
not
then.
correct. But
My
since 12,
God.
okay, so 12 years old, I went to the gym. I don't really know how to gym, but I that time YouTube was accessible, so I went to watch videos. But the videos are more of bodybuilders, the motivational videos. It boosts my ego a little bit more, because at that point of time I feel like, hey, I'm getting stronger. So I lift heavier and heavier, but without proper form. So
Mm,
when I started to get better in terms of lifting in the gym is when I was in ITE. So about 18 years old. So 12 to that period of time, 12 to 16 was more of a trial and error. Not really sure how to train, but I just show up at the gym. I make little progress, but not too much. But the progress really comes in when I was in ITE, when I was 18 years old. So 18 years old, how I progress so quickly, not because I have a coach, but I have a coach, but it is my Dragon Boat coach, which I mentioned during the run. So during that run, my coach said that I run like an old man jogging in the park. So he's the coach that pushed me to my limit. So that is when I realized that I have to push beyond my limits in terms of lifting with proper form, and then from there I know how to structure a proper workout program for myself, and then from there I learn much faster.
okay. So getting a coach who's someone who can actually look out for you, watch out for you, and kind of push you even, right, to make sure that you're able to achieve the results that you want. Or yeah, okay, very interesting. So okay, so I also have another question. So this one is a little bit asking a little bit about your future, right? So in regards to your future plan itself, okay. So this segment I want to ask a little bit about, okay, so if you were right now, okay, to kind of meet like a younger version of yourself, right? So today, okay, what would you say to young Daryl? Okay, young Daryl. Okay, so that you can either reach the goals that you want. I'm putting here is a million, but it could be anything. Okay, could be reach a
Correct.
million people, a million lives, $1 million. What would you say?
Is how I understand, because now what I am living right now is I'm always trying to become the person that I needed to be when I was 18 years old. Because when I was 18 years old, I didn't have the person that guide me. So that is why now I am always focusing on being the person that I needed back then. So if I have a word to say to my younger self, it is more of don't spread yourself too thin, because like what I share, I have a lot of aspirations that I want to achieve. I want to I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, but end up I get nothing done. So find a niche, and then focus on it all the way, because sometimes when things don't work out, we tend to search for other opportunities, which you divert your attention to another stuff, and then you end up doing things half-ass. So find a niche, and then from there keep focusing on bringing up bringing yourself up, and then from there keep building up your own personal brand. So that is for personal trainers. I would say this applies to personal trainers because personal training is more, it's very very wide. So what I focus more on is I focus more on entrepreneurs because I feel that I can connect a lot with entrepreneurs and we can connect through different businesses, and then we can help one another. So if I were to tell my younger self, it is more of don't spread yourself too thin, focus on one thing, and then just focus on one thing, and then
Please let me wait. When it's back, the
all
connection
your
is
hard
back.
attention is very limited.
Hey, bro, let's repeat that again
Our
because you lagged
attention
out a
is
little
very
bit. Oops, the speed is coming back.
oh
So
sh-
yeah, don't worry, no worries.
oh
Let's repeat that again so that we can actually catch your sound bites. So yeah, let's repeat again. What was the words that you want to say to yourself?
Yeah. So what I want to say to myself is I don't want my younger self to spread too thin and then get nothing done. So nothing. So for example, if you were to spread yourself too thin, you will do things half as. So that is why focus on one niche and then put your heart and soul into that one thing that you really believe in. So for myself, I focus more on entrepreneurs because I feel that we can leverage on one another to help our businesses to grow even higher. So from there, that is my niche. So for other people, for my younger self, maybe don't know what I want to do, but focus on one niche and then put your heart and soul into building on that something that you believe.
Mm, okay, thanks for sharing that. Cause like just before you were about to say it, then afterwards you were like, so I'm like, oh yeah, I better come in
That,
and
that,
just
that
get you to
was that
recap
was
that.
that was the golden nugget right there. But the
Yeah.
connection is pretty bad in the gym. So right now, actually, I am in the gym. This is like a small gym that has a community that brings everyone around, and then to help one another in terms of business and then in terms of self development as well. So this is where I stay. For example, I stay in this gym for the throughout my 90 days of beer challenge. I am staying here because I want to create that momentum for me to build. So if you guys have been following me through my social media, I have been doing carousel posts. I am not a graphic designer. I am not good at speaking in front of a lot of people, but sometimes you really have to do it. You have to force yourself to do it. If you really want to do it, you really have to force yourself to do it. Yeah, so this is the place where I stay. So my friend is right there. Yeah, he's just.
Hello.
So that is my bed. Yeah. So I stay here for throughout 80 days. So I am actually on day 80 of my challenge. 10 more days of beer. And then, I'm not an alcoholic, but I just want to prove a point that I want to take one for the boys because the boys, some of the boys like to drink. So, I'm taking one for the boys. So if your wife or your girlfriend is saying that, beer is bad for you, you will gain fat. Direct them to my channel and tell them that I've been drinking beer for 90 days. 90 days straight.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Did you record yourself the entire time though?
I don't record myself the entire time, but I Insta story myself. Uh,
Okay.
Insta story. I don't feel that that is a very good documentation, but the people that have been following me, they know that I'm going on this challenge. But I feel that I have to do like some proper videos, which something that I want to explore as well. So for example, if I next time maybe I go for another 90 days of beer challenge, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't really drink that much, but for this challenge, I'm taking one for the boys, man.
I think Wayne over here says it's definitely a good campaign. So drinking the beer for that is definitely a good campaign. So Wayne, if you're interested, right, definitely we can hit up Daryl, see whether that can work for you as well. Okay, that's an
Yeah, man.
interesting thing. Right. So with this, okay, I thanks so much for sharing. We are coming close to the hour, and I managed to dig up a lot of information for myself. I'm very inspired that you are so dedicated to the point of putting yourself to go through this challenge of this 90-day drinking beer. Now I have to say one thing. It may sound fun, but if 90 consecutive days just keep drinking that, it can get very boring, wouldn't it?
I wouldn't say it's boring because I'm drinking with a group of friends. So
Ah, okay.
they are not in the challenge, but sometimes we drink. But one can of beer per day. But sometimes we get to drink quite a lot. Sometimes we drink a few cartons, and then okay. The reason why sometimes when if you drink one or two cans, it's okay. But when we start to drink a little bit more, it's not that we will gain fat. although we will gain a little bit fat because of the calorie count, because one can of beer is about 170 calories. So if you play around with it, you can actually lose weight while consuming beer. But for example, some days we are drinking more, but in terms of weight loss, I am still on track. But in terms of feeling on point, I feel that I'm not on point when I'm drinking too much, because sometimes when we drink about 2 3 cartons shared among 4 to 5 people, like 2 to 3 cartons shared among 4 to 5 people, I feel lethargic. I feel that my mind is not right, my mind is not on point, my body is not on point. I need to okay. So for example,
Okay.
the best way for you to recover quickly is to get on the treadmill and then perspire yourself out. You don't have to run, you just have to walk for 30 minutes, just to have to let the blood flow and then get your mind ready again. So that is how I recover quickly from hangover, because of the beer drinking. I have to carry on the next day drinking also, because the beer challenge, I 90 days, I cannot stop halfway, right?
Otherwise, you may need to redo. It's
Yeah.
quite. I think some people will be like, I don't mind just failing on day 89 so I can redo the 90 days.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this 90 days will set up a habit for me to drink every day. I don't know because this I have been drinking and drinking until to the point where drinking seems fun, because in the gym after workout, I don't know if there's any other gym in Singapore that serves beer after your workout. I think I'm the first one.
Interesting. So you know what? Perhaps you could ask any of those beer companies. Hey, I can be a spokesperson. I just put your company, your product over here, and lie.
Yes, 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 yes. So if any of the beer company that wants to sponsor this gym, hey, feel free, man. The fridge is just behind this fridge. Yeah, I fill my beer with in the fridge. Yeah, but all being said, with that, I just want to say that the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want you guys to demonize any food, because for example, rice, bubble tea, cake, uh whatever junk food that you all can mention, it is not the food that is making you fat. It's more about eating too much of that food. So, for example, beer. I feel that beer is one of the worst, because beer people always link beer with beer belly. So that means if you drink beer, you will have beer belly. You will gain fat. So that is not the point. So that is why the 90 days challenge is to eliminate the thought of demonizing beer that gain uh, result in your weight gain. It is not. It is the overall calories that contribute to your fat gain, which is I really want to advocate to other people. I'm not doing this challenge 90 days just to prove that I am a good drinker for these 90 days.
Mm. Okay, so that's a good thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you heard from Daryl, right? So don't demonize the food. You can you can eat everything you want. Pretty much you can eat everything you want. You don't have to give up your lifestyle, right? You can just enjoy the food itself. But of course, it'd be good to have a personal trainer, a fitness trainer as well to help you keep you in track, right? So that you don't go overboard and then you don't just kind of overeat, you overindulge. Because I think there's a saying I heard before, that 80% of the you're getting in shape is done in the kitchen or something along those lines, right? I don't know the exact quote, but something along those lines, because it's the diet, the food that you eat, right? So, okay, so Daryl, before we end, we're coming very close to the hour. So, any parting words before we end, and how else can people reach you?
Any parting words? Because if today's session, if I have been talking too much, I feel that the one thing that I want you guys to take away is consistency. Long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity. Because if you can run very fast for today, but if you give up tomorrow, there is no point. What I want you to do is continue running for today. You can run slow, it's okay, but I want to know that in months to come, 6 months from now, 8 months from now, you are still working out. So that is the whole point. Fitness is a lifestyle. It is not something that you do a 90 days challenge and then you get the money, you get the body. So for example, if you were to get the money, you get the kind of money already. If you don't continue to sustain the money will also be gone anyways. So for example, body is also the same. So for example, if you work out for 90 days and then after the 90 days, if you don't sustain that body, if you don't sustain that habit, you don't sustain that lifestyle, eventually your body will go back to zero. So what I want you to do is make slight changes to your body, and then make that build up the momentum and then do that consistency to incorporate that into your lifestyle. And rather than pushing yourself all out, I really don't want you to go all out. As a trainer, I know pushing someone to the limit is very easy to do. Sometimes when I ask people to do 5 minutes workout, like it seems redundant, like this trainer, what is he doing? Doing some redundant things. But it is the long-term thing that we are talking about, making a lifestyle change, and then from there slowly increase the intensity that makes it very comfortable for someone to incorporate into their lifestyle. I'm sorry if the parting words are a bit long, but I just want to get this into your damn head, man.
All right, that's good stuff. So, anyway, for guys, if you guys want to reach Daryl, you definitely can be reached over at Instagram. All right, so Instagram.com/Daryl. All right, Ngdaryl. So if you want to reach him, reach out to him, but you can go ahead. And by the way, I think you have another website called Buff Daddy. Would you want to talk a little bit about that?
Okay, so buff daddy. So I like what I say. Fitness is not more. It's not just about getting a nice body. So buff daddy is actually one of the guys that trains around here, trains here, and then from there we discuss of how we want to do up a business. So he told me that he's into cooking, and then we try to start something new, which is healthy food, which is called buff daddy. So but what is buff daddy? Buff daddy is like a healthy bento box, which the calories is less than 500 calories. So for example, if you were to consume 3 box of buff daddy, it is almost 1,500 calories, which is still available for you, allowance for you to consume your favorite food. So that is the whole point of buff daddy. Instead of getting the kind of food that you eat that you don't know how to track. So for example, if you were to eat 3 meals of buff daddy, more or less you are you're still under the calorie intake. But if you want to eat a little bit more, you still can have a little bit of your favorite food.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. So, guys, if you want to get some meal help from the Buff Daddy, right? So you can see on the screen right now, buffdaddy.paperform.co. Okay, so let me say that again, buffdaddy.paperform.co. So just hit for that. All right, so thank you so much for your sharing all the tips you have with me, Daryl. I think I've benefited a lot. I learned a lot, and yeah, so I think that's all we have. Thank you so much once again, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Asher, and thank you so much, everyone that spend some time, spend that hour with me to hear me talk about fitness. I know sometimes when I say, it don't make sense because I thought fitness is all about going all out, and then why this trainer is telling you to hold your horses, but then again, consistency, consistency, consistency. Always think about the big picture. Don't think about short-term intensity. That is no use.
Yeah, I really like this quote over here that you shared earlier. Long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity. I really like that. Okay, so thank you, Daryl. We'll catch you again. Stick around, man.
Thank
Say
you
bye-bye.
so much, Asher. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you so much, Daryl. All right, so guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. This is the end of the show. So do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, feel free to leave a comment because Daryl can still respond. Or feel free and leave a comment, share this, like it, so that because I'm starting this out, it's called the Starting Million. That's the end of the show. Thanks for watching.